Today on Tight End Loose Off, we're going to talk about the great number placement debacle. What can we do to make these numbers look good? Let's talk about it. This has been a hot topic of conversation for a while now. Today we're going to talk about why NASCAR is doing this in the first place, what makes a good design with this layout, and we're going to look at some good designs. And then last but not least, I'm going to give you my thoughts and let you know what I think about this move. But first, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video and leave a comment down below letting me know what you think, because I want to hear what you guys have to say also. Let's get into it. Now, quick disclaimer before you go and send me a bunch of hate comments. I prefer the number being on the door because I'm a nostalgic person. Motorsports fans, we're nostalgic people. We don't like a lot of change, so we like to see things stay the way they are. And the number staying on the side of the door is kind of part of NASCAR's brand identity to some extent. It's part of how you identify a NASCAR race car apart from other race cars. If you're a layman, that's how you can kind of tell the difference sometimes. So it makes sense, but can we slide the number forward and still make it look like a NASCAR race car and still make it look good? I think you can. I think there's a few ways to do it, and there's a few things that I think need to be kept in mind when designing these race cars. Really quick, let's recap why NASCAR would want to move the numbers forward, and I'll try to be pretty quick at this. First off, sliding the number forward is a more efficient use of space. If you're leaving the number in the center of the door, a good designer will tell you it's a very inefficient use of space because you have sections on the left and the right side of the number that are just hard to utilize, and you don't always have, the free choice of what logos to put there and different things like that. It's just hard to utilize those spaces to its full potential. We used to have contingency decals. We don't have that anymore. Also, you got to consider that it's probably the most photographed section of the race car. When, the car is being photographed from certain angles, you can't always see the things that are on the quarter panels or the hood very well, but a lot of times you can see what's on the side of the race car. So it makes a lot of sense from that standpoint to move the number. This move was confirmed shortly after Kurt Busch announced that he was moving to 2311 Racing next year. They unveiled this show car where they have the number moved forward, and it's just a pit stop practice car. It's just a Toyota pit stop practice car. This is not a real, quote unquote, real next gen car. This is for pit stop practice. And it looks okay. It's not the worst looking paint scheme that I've ever seen, but I think some of the logos could probably be placed a little bit more carefully. They could be sized a little bit more carefully. I think the number's probably a little bit too far forward. There's just a few things about it that feel a little off, but I don't actually hate it. Now, lucky for us, there is a really passionate, really talented design community on NASCAR Twitter and Instagram and stuff. There's a lot of really talented designers out there designing some really cool fantasy paint schemes, and some of them have gotten so good that they've actually been hired to do some real life race cars and stuff like that. I'm putting up some of their paint schemes on the screen right now because it's really good. They're making sure to utilize this new space in a really great creative way that we couldn't really do with having the numbers in the center of the door. They've just done such a good job at it. And while I do prefer keeping the number in the center of the door for nostalgia's sake, I could really appreciate what these guys are doing because they are making it really hard to hate this move. I mean, when they do it right, when this is done well, it's really not that bad, and I actually really like it. However, I still do have some concerns. Over the past decade, we've seen professional sports drop off in popularity. NASCAR is no exception to this, and maybe even to a little bit more of an extreme degree. But I think things have leveled off pretty well over the past, 2 years or so. We've actually seen a little bit of an uptick in some newer, younger fans coming to the sport. It's been kind of nice to see. It's, some positive momentum. But we have a lot of changes coming. Like I said, motorsports fans, we're nostalgic people, and we tend to be a little resistant to change sometimes. There's going to be a lot of things to adjust to next year, and a lot of people are going to like some of these changes, and there's going to be a group of people that don't like these changes. And that's just kind of the nature of how things work sometimes. But my thinking is, why make this change right now? In a time where you're changing so many things, why would NASCAR want to do this now? My concern is, it's going to be too much change too quickly. Maybe that's part of the strategy. Maybe it's change everything, make everything new. Maybe that's part of the strategy. But in my mind, leave one thing consistent. Maybe that's the number on the side of the door. Maybe it's something else, but leave the number on the door. Let NASCAR stock cars keep their identity a little bit longer. That's just my thinking. I don't know. But that'll be it for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and like this video if you haven't already. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And you can find me on Twitter or Instagram. Links are down in the description below. But until next time, my name's Tyler. This is Tight and Loose Off, and I'll see you in the next video.